Greetings, my peeps. So today, I've got a story to tell you. It's going to go over the course of a whole bunch of time, but I've got a point at the end, so just stick with me. So, suffice it to say, I used to play a lot of sports. Probably started around age 12 or so, maybe 11, but I think it was around 12. I used to play baseball, and I played basketball. I played baseball in a league, and I used to play with the guys around the neighborhood. And I played basketball. I played in one league that I remember, and I was pretty good there. I had coaches who wouldn't put me on the team or wouldn't play me for whatever reason until they didn't have anybody else. And I could beat at least more than half of the people who started one-on-one. But you know what? Coaches are coaches. That's just how that is. But still, I bowled a lot, won a lot of trophies. I may have mentioned that in another video at some other point. So I played a lot of things. And one of the things that I did as kind of an athlete at that time was I worked hard. I wanted to outwork everybody. I didn't skimp. I wanted to win. I didn't want to win. I wanted to slaughter. I'll just tell it like it is. I really wanted to slaughter. If someone won a game, if we were playing tennis and someone won a game, I got mad. So like I said, I started at 12, made it through high school, and then got to a certain point where I was in college and I'd won a couple of things over a couple of years and decided, you know what, I need to back off on the intensity. So I backed off on the intensity. I still wanted to win, but I didn't take it personal. But at some point I decided it's time to try to do weights. So I joined the gym, I started doing weights, and I started doing aerobics. And at the time, I didn't know that there were different degrees of aerobics. So the aerobics class I took, young lady named Kathleen, she was absolutely stunning, which is why I took the class. I'm not going to lie. I took it because she was stunning. And there were a bunch of women in there. As a matter of fact, I was the only guy most of the time in there. And I had trouble keeping up because it was a different kind of athletics than I was used to. But I stuck with it. And then it turned out later on, she told me, you're really in a class that's above what you're used to. You probably should have been in beginning aerobics. To which I said, I'm not in beginning aerobics? But I thought I was. And I was doing weightlifting. Now, I'd always had strong legs. We used to call it the military press. I don't know if they still call it that. Maybe now they just call it the leg press. And when I was in my teens, I could press 500 pounds. I couldn't work out with it, but I could reach the 500 pounds. I was, had always had strong legs. And so I was doing that a little bit, but I was basically working with 300 pounds. And I was doing well. The thing is, I've always had strong legs, but I haven't always had a strong upper body. So I started out trying to lift weights that really were probably too heavy for me. And I worked with somebody who told me this is the weight you should be using. So I ended up with broader shoulders, but my arms didn't get anywhere. The rest of me didn't get anywhere, and I was sore all the time. So at a certain point, I hurt myself. I'm not even going to get into that. But I hurt myself, hurt my back, and my back was in pain for a bunch of years. Yet I kept doing everything that I'd always done because when I was a kid, if I got hurt, Dad would say, rub dirt on it. That's what we did back in the 70s. It sounds stupid in today's context, but that's what we did. You quote unquote rub dirt on it, and you kept going. So that was, how it was. Then I got into my 40s, and I said, you know what? It's time for me to really get exercising again. So we lived in this apartment complex, and they had a workout room. And so my wife and I go over, and we start doing this. And there was this one machine, I don't remember what it was at the time, and I did this thing, and I heard a pop. It was me. And I popped this thing in my stomach, and it hurt a lot for a day, but then it went away. I didn't think of it for the longest time until it started to grow many years later, and it started to hurt a little bit, and it turned out I had a hernia. So I busted something in my stomach. Got an operation on that, went back to work too early, and I was walking hard, having trouble walking. I had pain. I felt dizzy. I felt like I was going to pass out. Always pushing. Always pushing. We moved to a few years later. Now I'm self-employed. And I'm deciding, you know what, I'm going to get committed to exercising again. And I join another gym. And I'm going to this gym, and even though there were people who should have been there to help you learn how to use the equipment, they really didn't have any of that. So, there were a couple of people you could talk to like on the first day, but they didn't walk you through everything. They just pointed stuff out, and then they left. And we're all left to our own devices. Now, here's me now. I'm over 40. Not quite 50 yet. At least I don't think I was. But still, I'm over 40. And I decide, you know what? Let's see how I can do on these circuit things. So I'm doing the thing, and I could still push 500, but only once or twice. But I could regularly work with 300, but at some point, something told me, let's bring that down to 250. So I could do 2 reps, 10 reps, 2 times of 250 for the legs. However, I still had the same issue with upper body. And it's a shame, because now I'm a bigger person, and I'm thinking I should be able to do this thing. But I would still do the circuits. I was doing 300 crunches a day. Yeah, I was really working it. But I wasn't losing any weight. But still, I was going. Now, there was this one time where there's this Mandingo brother. That's just what you gotta call him. He was a big, muscular guy. And he was a really nice guy. And I saw him on this machine, and I can't even tell you what it was, but he was loading 50-pound weights on each side. And he got on this thing, and but he was giving it up. And he did something like 3 or 4 reps. 10 reps each time, 3 or 4 times. I said, oh my God. And one time I went over and I counted it, and I'm serious. It was about 700 pounds. I said, wow. Now, it's different than doing deadlifts. I don't know that he could have done deadlifts, but he didn't do deadlifts. He did the machine. So one night I'm there, and I decide, you know what? I'm going to go over and I'm going to do this machine. Like I said, there's no one in there telling you how to use the stuff. So I'm thinking, okay, I weigh more than 200 pounds. Let's just say that. I weighed considerably. I weighed a lot more than 200 pounds. I just turned into Porky Pig. So I go to the machine, I put 200 pounds on that bad boy, and I get it up here, and I do this thing, and I'm pushing this 200 pounds. And I'm like, yeah, you're the man. You know you can do this. And then 3 days later, my body shut down on me. It froze. I couldn't move for about a day. And the thing is, it was around Christmas, and I'm at my mother's house. And so I basically had to lay in bed for a day until my body relaxed. And I wasn't sure what it was related to until my wife said it had to be related to you doing that machine. You were so proud of that, but you didn't work up to that. You jumped right into it, and you had to work really hard at it because that's what you do. And I did. So you're thinking, okay, he's learning lessons along the way. He's not going to do anything else like that. At least that's what I would think. But it ain't true. But this is now a slightly different thing. I mentioned here, and I've got a video, I may link to it, how I had a car accident back in February. And after about a week, I started feeling pain in my right shoulder. And after another week, I started feeling pain here in the forearm. And I just assumed this pain is going to go away. It didn't go away. I still have the pain, by the way. So eventually, I said, you know what? I should call my insurance company and find out if the insurance part of my claim is still open. And it turns out it was. So I finally go see my doctor. He does his thing. He says, I think you have a rotator cuff thing. We're going to send you to orthopedics. So I go to the orthopedic doctor. He does his quick examination after they did an x-ray, which I thought was kind of a waste of time because you can't tell these kind of things, what happens by doing an x-ray, but he did it. And he came in and said, okay, we can't tell anything from the x-ray. Duh. So he decides to go ahead and send me to physical therapy. Now, I also have an MRI scheduled, which I don't have until Friday, but he schedules the MRI. I said, okay, fine. And so I'm wondering, okay, why am I doing physical therapy? They said, well, we try to get you loose and whatever. Maybe that's really what it is. We don't know that it's going to need surgery, but, we start off with something. So I meet the guy, this guy, Chris, and he's a good guy, and we walk through some things. And one of those things is they wanted me to start slow. So they've got me doing this little stuff, and I'm thinking, wow, this seems kind of weak. Now, truthfully, some of it did hurt. Going really slow, I'm like, how is this hurting? I'm not really lifting any weights. It's just tension exercises. I could push or pull way heavier than this. Forgetting that, one, I have not done this kind of exercise in a long time, and two, I'm in pain. That's the first day. And he sent me home with a stretchy thing and a sheet to do certain exercises. So I had the second session, which was last Friday. So last Friday, I don't have the same guy I had. Now I've got these two young ladies. One is the actual therapist, and the other one is her student. And so now they're running me through stuff. Now I have been doing these exercises for, 4 or 5 days at home. And now they've got me doing those, and they're adding to it. And so here's me thinking, well, you know what? I liked how it felt doing those others, so I'm going to increase this a little bit. And so I increased. I mean, I did what they said to, but I pulled harder, and I did this harder, and I did that harder, and I did more than they said to do, because this is what I do. And when I left, I had a little twinge, but I'm okay, so I thought. About 30 minutes after, I start feeling intense pain. About an hour after that, I have intense pain and burning. Shoulder, bicep, forcep, neck. In essence, it's everywhere. Now, here's me again saying, it'll go away. I'll be able to exercise tomorrow. I wasn't able to exercise until today, when I went to physical therapy. And the guy, greets me there. He says, so how you doing? I said, I got to tell you the truth. I'm not doing so well. And I tell him this thing. And I said, look, I can't blame anything they had me do. I can't blame you for anything. I have to blame myself, because last Friday when I came in here, I pushed it. It's a thing I do. I haven't learned my lesson over all these years. And so I pushed it. And so they do the thing where they heat you up first to try to loosen you down, loosen you up some. And then they had me doing super minimal. Matter of fact, some of the stretching I did, I said, whoa, I can't even barely do this. And it was less than the very first day. But there it is. I did some stretching. They got me on a couple other things, which helped me loosen up a little bit, so then I could do the full thing. And I did exactly what they told me to do, at the exact tension that they told me to do. And at the end of it, they said, the guy says, okay, we should ice you down. Last time you didn't want to do it. I think this time you should ice us down. I said, you know what? I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it. And the reason I didn't want to do it is because years ago when I hurt my back, I had some physical therapy at a hospital that was unsanctioned, but they felt pity on me. And what they did is they took this giant bag of ice and laid it on my back. And of course, it's intense cold pain for about a minute and a half, and then it starts to heat and it gets really hot. Well, in this case, they patted it down. So they had like an ice pack. They put it in a little towel thing and they put it on there. And it's cool, slightly cold, but it's nothing like it used to be back, oh my God, is that 20 years ago? Lord, I'm old. Anyway, I got iced down. Today I feel pretty good. I'm doing this on Wednesday night. It goes live Thursday. And this is where we get to the lesson part. There are people who try to do things and they want to just jump into it and go strong. They don't want to go anything slow. They think, look, I'm absorbing everything. I can bypass all this mess and I can just go. Same thing used to happen when I used to try to teach people how to play piano, which didn't last long, by the way, because everyone wanted to start with a song. And I'm trying to teach them the scale. C, D, E, F, G, sharps, flats. I don't want to know all that. Teach me how to play a song. It doesn't work that way. You can't jump. You just can't take steps like that. You at least have to have some kind of knowledge before you can achieve anything. This goes to if you're going to write, if you're going to, do a video, if you're going to go work in any kind of job, if you're going to be on the computer, if you're, whatever it is that you do, you need to take some time to learn something about it. Now, it didn't help when I was going to the gym where I didn't have anyone helping me learn what all these machines did, that's not on me. As a matter of fact, that should be on the gym people, because I did ask, and I never got anybody. So that should have been on them. And since I was paying $50 a month, I should have got a little bit more from my money. But that's here nor there. It certainly didn't stop me last week with the physical therapy. It hadn't stopped me in the rest of my life. And what's funny is that it's only with physical things do I do stupid stuff like this. Usually, I will take time to learn things. That's just how I am. I will learn things, and then if it's something I'm interested in, I learn it great. So I like to think that I'm very good at a lot of things. I'm nothing at a ton of things because I'm not interested in them. And some things, I just need to remember, you have to kind of take your time, learn things. In this case, I need to take time with the physical therapy because even though I could probably lift way more weights, I'm in pain. This is stupid what I did. Don't do stupid. That's the point of this. See, I got all that stuff to get to that point. We all do it, and we all need to check ourselves. So let me know your thoughts. If you like this thing, please click that like thing. If you'd like to subscribe, because I do my stories, I talk about all kind of stuff, hit that. And the bell, which is there, talks about notifications. I used to never do this, but I've learned that you're supposed to ask people to do it. I'm doing it. My name is Mitch Mitchell. I hope y'all have a wonderful week.